A massive cleanup underway after a devastating storm rips through southern Alberta.
Golf ball-sized hail, winds potentially gusting 130, even higher.
Power lines snapped, homes battered, and farm animals lost. Plus, Danielle Smith confirms COVID shots will not be covered for the average Albertan.
I can tell you we don't want to carry on with that kind of approach.
But did you know you could go get it for free in BC? And the language of love.
Then I always do it. Birthday, anniversary, Valentine's.
We've found the romantic leaving these hillside messages in Canyon Meadows.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. The cleanup is underway after a massive storm ripped through southern Alberta yesterday. It toppled power lines, snapped trees, damaged crops and homes, and resulted in the death of some farm animals at a local petting zoo. Terry Fikowski joins us from outside of Brooks with more on the cleanup from this massive storm. Terry.
Tara, this storm blew in fast and furious. At the peak of the storm overnight, around 5,000 people were without power in southern Alberta, the Brooks and surrounding area. As of early this afternoon, Fortress Alberta says that they got that down to about 1,000 customers, and this evening still some without power. But crews are working. As you can see, we're far away for safety, but down the road they are working to restore that power. In this case, a farmer's pivot irrigation actually flew up in the air from the very strong winds, flew across the road and into a power line, really creating and reflecting just the path of destruction here in southern Alberta. The sound of a massive cleanup underway at this petting zoo outside of Brooks, Alberta, after a strong storm blew in fast.
Storm was literally like 100 yards off the gravel road, white hail wall, and it just was coming. There's no stopping it.
The storm shattered every window and caused $80,000 worth of damage to farm equipment and property, but it also toppled big trees, crushing and killing a pony and beloved camel, Stoli.
Gets rough. I mean, he's part of the family, right? He's been known around the whole area here. People of Brooks, visitors have come through.
The strength of the storm evident as you drive into Brooks, with nearly every home peppered with holes from ping-pong-sized hail and strong winds.
You can see the big holes here along the side.
Galen Lilac is still assessing the damage to her home and helping neighbors clean up the community.
The lightning was like just one on top of the other, and the thunder was so loud you couldn't hardly even hear that over top of how loud the hail was.
A scary situation for those on the roads when the storm hit too. RCMP say a vehicle with people inside became trapped under a live power line that collapsed on Highway 1 just outside of Brooks. It was shut down for hours on Thursday as crews worked to restore power to the region.
Rolled through in approximately 10 to 15 minutes, but rolled through with extreme winds, large hail, and caused mass amounts of damage to our customers and to our facilities.
A sobering reminder about Mother Nature's wrath.
It was scary. It was scary.
Very heartbreaking.
Again, some folks do remain without power this evening in the Brooks and surrounding communities, but Fortress Alberta says that it's working around the clock. It actually brought in around 80 extra personnel, some as far as Whitecourt, to help with the restoration, and say that they are working to get everyone back up and running as soon as possible. Back to you.
Okay, Terry Fikowski reporting. Terry, thank you. Well, let's bring Danielle in now. You probably have a better sense of the size of this storm, both in sort of scope and strength.
Yeah, this was an exceptional storm, a scary storm to say the least, and very unique things about this one that's very impressive when you're looking at a supercell. Here's what we can confirm so far. So when something like this happens, there's an investigation that goes on afterwards, looking at damage and looking at reports. This is what we know so far, but Environment and Climate Change Canada, along with the Northern Hail Project, Northern Tornado Project, all out there doing a further investigation. So this supercell tracked 600 kilometers. That's a huge, huge distance, and it was intense basically the entire time. It basically started out just to the east of High River and then carried off into Saskatchewan. So a huge path of damage. Maximum wind gusts in Atlee, which is between Bassano and Empress, basically 149 kilometers per hour. And at this point, what we've confirmed is golf ball size hail, but There have been reports of baseball-size hail with this one, but of course that investigation continues. And if we do hear that, I'll keep you posted. At this point, though, now it's quiet, it's calm. This system will be redirected around us, and we are looking at a long stretch of sunshine, and the temperatures will build in the coming days. 20 degrees right now, as you can see by the live shot, a whole lot of sunshine, and it's stable tomorrow as well. Thank goodness. 21 degrees for our high with a lot of sunshine tomorrow as well. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. Premier Danielle Smith continues to defend her policy that will force many Albertans to pay out of pocket for a COVID vaccine this fall. But today, we're learning about a way Albertans may be able to get their shot for free. Mark Villani is in Northeast Calgary tonight, and Mark, Premier Smith seems to have no issue with another province stepping up to provide Albertans with the free vaccination.
Yeah, that's right, Tara. The British Columbia government confirmed to us this afternoon that it will offer free COVID-19 shots to all Canadian residents, even if you live outside of their province. Of course, British Columbians will be prioritized first, and there's limited locations for anyone outside the province to get that shot. But this could be a game changer for Alberta families who are looking to save money. We're talking hundreds of dollars potentially for a family of 4 or 5 who are looking to pay out of pocket for this vaccination otherwise. Now, yesterday, Smith committed to providing Alberta healthcare workers with the vaccine for free. The immunocompromised and AISH recipients will also be covered in Alberta. But details on who else might be eligible, including teachers, seniors, or other frontline workers, that's still unknown. The Premier says she won't cover the cost for all Albertans because, unlike in previous years where the federal government paid for the province to have these vaccines, Alberta is now on the hook for this cost. Smith also added that paying for a vaccine also isn't out of the ordinary.
Well, you know, we'll try it this way. This year we are trying to mitigate costs because it is an expensive intervention. The RSV shot, we only just started paying for it for those over age 75. That's a $300 shot. When people go traveling and need a yellow fever shot, they pay for that themselves.
She's purposely comparing things that aren't comparable. You know, different vaccines, different things. You know, of course, there's travel vaccines people pay for when they're traveling and so on. This is about protecting Albertans from a disease that's in Alberta.
Now, vaccine advocates are also concerned about access to the COVID-19 shots as pharmacies are being excluded from this rollout, and the shots are only going to be available at public health centers. Now, Tara, tomorrow the province is committing to providing a little more information as to just how much this is going to cost the average Albertan who is not eligible for a free COVID shot.
Okay, Mark Villani reporting. Mark, thank you. The grieving family of a 16-year-old Calgary girl who died from her injuries in a jet ski-related accident in Ontario say her legacy will live on through others as a donor. A week ago today, Ava Sussums was airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries after she and 3 teenage girls hit a break wall on a lake in southern Ontario. Ontario Provincial Police say the jet ski was pulling a tube. Emergency crews and nearby residents pulled the girls from the water. A 17-year-old died in hospital. A 15- and 17-year-old were transported with non-life-threatening injuries. Ava's family says she passed away yesterday, but through several tissue and organ donations, she will live on. A GoFundMe page has been set up to help the Sussums foster family to help them with financial expenses. Court records for a Calgary man accused of kidnapping a 12-year-old boy in Airdrie reveal he has twice been convicted of child pornography-related offenses. 37-year-old Zain Al-Noor Merchant is facing 9 new charges. RCMP say a child escaped an abduction when a group of Airdrie teens arranged to meet a man in a catch-a-predator-style scheme Monday night. Merchant will remain in custody until his next court appearance in a week. CTV News has learned he served a 2-year sentence for possession of child pornography from 2021. He was convicted again in 2023 for accessing child pornography. Court ordered him not to contact anyone under the age of 16. An expert in policing and social media says this creep catcher type trend is appealing to youngsters, but it is very dangerous.
We could surmise that children 11 and 12 who are online on social media, they might see these videos and they might see that it has hundreds of thousands of likes or shares, and this would be a way then to, I think, fairly quickly go viral online and to receive attention.
Schneider adds that police are better trained and better equipped to approach suspected predators, and getting involved can actually backfire on active investigations. Calgary police say street racing and excessive speeding is a growing concern in the city, and they don't have all the tools to properly fight it. Not only can it be deadly, it is a major nuisance for those living near roads turned into racetracks. Jordan Canigan reports.
Even through triple-paned windows, those living near Calgary's major roads can still hear it.
There's just a lot of excessive speeding. It sounds at some point like they're racing or they're just traveling in large groups. And you'll often hear them doing laps.
Engines revving, tires squealing, and speeders racing down Stony Trail.
During the day, it's not bad in that, but at night, there's definitely some street racing going on from, I don't know, all hours of the night.
And the speeding and street racing can be much more serious than just a sound complaint.
A lot of these people overestimate their skill level, and we've seen people at high speeds have a collision, and at those higher speeds, the impact is so much greater that it causes serious injury or death.
Police say there have already been 112 street racing incidents this year so far. That's up from 96 total last year. 20% of those racing calls have been on Stony Trail.
You know, it's just over 100-kilometer roadway all around, and when you hear in that 37-minute time frame of completing that loop, it's having a significant impact. And it's not only a danger to the people doing the street racing, it's a danger to the people that are commuting on that roadway.
The city has also recorded 23 fatal collisions on Calgary roads so far in 2025. There were 29 in all of 2024. Investigators are considering speed a factor in about 30% of the deadly crashes this year.
It tells me the way that we're doing enforcement right now isn't working. So that's why seizure of vehicles would be a nice tool in our belt. If people are going over a certain speed, it would be nice if we were able to do that.
Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
The province says it will unveil a strategy against street racing next week. The Alberta-wide campaign will include billboards and radio ads urging people to slow down.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
It's pretty easy these days to send someone a heart emoji, let them know you love them. But a Calgary man has been taking his heartfelt messages to the next level for 29 years. Shane Basson is the man behind the massive hearts that commuters might see driving north on McLeod Trail at the Canyon Meadows overpass. The hearts are for his loving wife, Sandy. Kevin Fleming reports.
It's just after 4 a.m. and the perfect time for Shane Basson to put up a heart for his wife, Sandy. He uses wire stakes and surveyor's tape in the summer and only leaves it up for a few days in case the city comes to cut the grass.
Just once the police went by, because I'm there early, and they shone those big lights at me, and I just went and waved at them. And they just waved at me and then went away. I thought they were coming up to tell me to leave or something, but no.
The finished heart is visible to all the commuters heading north on McLeod Trail. When there's no snow, Basson only puts the hearts up a few times for Sandy's birthday or anniversary. But in the winter, the signs are up after every snowfall, and he tries to be creative.
I took a generator with Christmas tree lights, and I went up there and started it, and it worked. And I was like, oh, come on. It was cool. And then I went, I can't leave it here, though, because the generator. So I called her. I said, you better go look. And then I had to shut it off. But that was a pretty good one. It was fun.
The tradition started after their second meeting 29 years ago. And 2 years later, they were married.
I keep saying, Shane, you don't have to keep doing this, because I know it's tiring. He gets up so early in the morning and does it and stuff. And I say, you know, I appreciate it. I love it. And it makes me feel special. But I feel, you know, after 29 years, but it's kind of, so it's nice to see and stuff like that. And yeah, I enjoy it. So if he wants to keep going, I'm okay with that.
Shane picked a spot that Sandy drives by on her daily work commute, and it makes her smile every time she sees his messages.
But honestly, I'm going to keep doing this till I can.
Basson says not many people know who's behind the love notes, and when they find out, they're impressed. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
So 1 year, Basson placed a refrigerator box up on the hill and he wrapped it like a big present, and then he jumped inside and he texted Sandy to come see it. He was relieved when it was his wife who opened it eventually. Still to come, a growing debate over self-defense and how far you can actually go. An Ontario man has been charged after defending himself during a home invasion in the middle of the night. And Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister heads to Washington. Is any progress being made on the trade war file? We're back in about 1 minute. The Crown will not appeal the acquittals of 5 former members of Canada's 2018 World Junior Hockey team. A lawyer for one of the men says he's been informed of the decision. All 5 were acquitted of sexual assault following a trial in Ontario. The judge found the complainant's testimony was not credible or reliable and said there were troubling aspects in how she delivered some of her evidence. The defense called the ruling a resounding vindication, while the complainant's lawyer called it devastating. A home invasion in Ontario is generating debate surrounding use of force and self-defense. It comes after a man was charged after confronting an intruder who broke into his apartment in the middle of the night. CTV's Heather Wright explains.
In this town of 22,000 people northeast of Toronto, many here are only talking about 2.
I heard, what happened to, Jeremy upstairs, and from what I understand, someone broke into his place while he was sleeping, and they attacked him and he defended himself.
It all happened in the unit above Jesse Kalabik's tattoo shop early Monday morning. Police say they were called to this apartment for a report of an altercation. They say the resident, identified in court documents as Jeremy McDonald, woke up and found an intruder in his home. A fight ensued, and the alleged intruder, identified as Michael Kyle Breen, was airlifted to a Toronto hospital with serious injuries.
I think what he did was justified. There's a lot of, controversy going on right now.
The controversy erupted after police charged both men. McDonald faces aggravated assault and assault with a weapon charges. Court documents suggest a knife was involved. Breen faces various charges, including possession of a weapon, break and enter, and failing to comply with probation.
Something is broken. I know if someone breaks into my house or someone else's, you're going to fight for your life. This guy has a weapon. You're going to use any force you possibly can to protect your family.
Kawartha Police, which laid the charges, defended their decision. Under Canadian law, individuals have the right to defend themselves and their property. However, it is important to understand that these rights are not unlimited in Canada. The law requires that any defensive action be proportionate to the threat faced.
We really need to know the details of what happened inside that home.
Defense attorney Joseph Newberger says it's too early to know exactly what happened inside the apartment, and says Canada does have self-defense laws despite the misinformation circulating online.
We do have sufficient self-defense laws that are broad enough that if an individual comes in with a knife or a gun and you are at serious risk of bodily harm or death, you can respond with lethal force.
Court documents show there was an arrest warrant out for Breen, the alleged intruder, at the time of this incident. Once he's released from hospital, he will be held in custody pending a bail hearing. Meanwhile, McDonald will be in court at the end of September. Heather Wright, CTV News, Lindsay, Ontario.
This is CTV News Calgary.
Well, Danielle, after that massive storm last night, it sounds like we're heading into a beautiful stretch of weather.
Yes, you are correct. And this isn't just a 2-day stretch or a 3-day stretch. It's looking at like a 10-day stretch of stable weather in southern Alberta, lots of sunshine. If you like the cooler, somewhat cooler temperatures like what we had today, well, then the next couple days are for you. And if you like the heat, well, later this week and much of next week is for you then. 20 degrees is the temperature in Calgary at the moment. 22 is a normal daytime high for this time of year, so we're a little below normal. The winds are relatively calm for the most part. In those lower 20s for Brooks and Medicine Hat, mid-20s for Lethbridge at 24 right now. All right, so yes, smooth sailing for sure. This system does look like it's going to track down, and it's trying to track down, but we have a ridge of high pressure that's making its way up, and that's going to push us up and redirected around us, so it'll be a Saskatchewan issue and for east of there, but we're not looking at dealing with that here. So here's that ridge of high pressure that we'll be building in, and that's going to make that little low move way off to the east. We likely won't even see any clouds from that even. So I'll give you the futurecast here, the hour by hour, and if you check out southern Alberta, again, there's that system that tracks up and around us, and we don't really have any active weather to talk about in the short term, also in that longer term as well. So looking at your 5-day forecast, your Action Furnace 5-day forecast, 21 degrees for tomorrow, so still about a degree below normal. Then we get just above normal for Saturday with some sunshine. 26 degrees, so those mid-20s for Sunday. And then as we track into Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to show you that 10-day trend to give you the idea here. But we are looking at a lot of heat building in. So by next week, we're going to be in those high 20s for pretty much all of next week. So a lot of heat, a lot of sunshine, UV index high, a lot of stability, which is nice considering the storm that blew through yesterday, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister and her U.S. counterpart met in person for the first time today. The two discussed the wars in Ukraine, Gaza, and countering China. And then the Prime Minister and President spoke by phone. CTV's Judy Trin is in the U.S. Capitol with the latest.
This is the first in-person meeting between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand. The State Department says the two discussed Haiti, Hamas, peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, and countering China. The U.S. trade war wasn't in the readout, but analysts say it likely loomed over the talks.
In Donald Trump's world, everything is linked to everything else. And so if Canada's in a place of disagreement with the U.S. on Ukraine or on Gaza or on Haiti, then that's not something that will be helpful to the negotiations.
An example of this, on July 31st, Trump posted that Canada's intention to recognize a Palestinian state would make it difficult to make a trade deal. A day later, Trump imposed 35% tariffs on Canadian goods not covered under the North American Trade Agreement. Earlier this week, Anand traveled to Finland to meet with Nordic foreign ministers to discuss how to support Ukraine's push for security guarantees. Before the meeting, CTV News asked Anand if U.S. trade tensions put pressure on Canada to align with American interests.
The work that we're doing together is to ensure that the dialogue between our two countries along multiple issues remains open and strong. And thus far, we have had this very strong relationship.
Anand didn't answer questions about the state of trade negotiations, but today, some movement as the Prime Minister spoke to the President. The readout describes their conversations as productive and wide-ranging. They discussed trade challenges and long-term peace and security for Ukraine. The Prime Minister's office says the two leaders agreed to reconvene their conversations. Meanwhile, Carney is planning to travel to Mexico in mid-September to meet with President Claudia Sheinbaum. The two plan to find common ground so they can fight back against Trump's trade war. Judy Trin, CTV News, Washington.
Still to come, the Air Canada strike is over. The planes are flying again. So why are stranded passengers having such a tough time getting to their destinations? And feeling the squeeze. The sale of orange juice is way down in Canada. We'll take a look at the reasons. A scare for people on board this Delta flight that landed in Texas. You can see part of the Boeing 737's wing flap is dangling. Delta says the aircraft has been taken out of service for maintenance. One day after an end to the Air Canada flight attendant strike, CTV News is hearing from passengers. They're telling us they're frustrated by what they see as Air Canada's inability and apparent unwillingness to book them on the next available flight home. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now on the complaints and the failure of regulations to protect consumers.
The Britton family's European summer adventure ended with their scheduled flight home with Air Canada canceled.
It felt like at every step of the way, instead of trying to provide a solution, it was, you can have a refund. Please have a refund. And we knew that that was really just a way of them absolving themselves of the responsibility.
According to the Canadian Transportation Agency's regulations, if an airline can't rebook you on their airline following a cancellation, a customer may choose a reservation from the next available flight that is operated by any carrier. The Britons found the next available tickets on a United flight from Italy to Kelowna. Air Canada declined to book them.
They said they didn't have access to it.
Stuck in Lisbon, Kyla Kumar also reached out to CTV News after Air Canada refused to rebook her family on a Delta flight home.
Very clear refusal to book us on another carrier.
CTV News also received an audio recording of an Air Canada agent refusing to rebook a customer because there was only a business class seat available.
You are required to put me in that space.
That is something you can take up with customer relations to see why is that not being offered, because on our end we have to maintain the same cabin.
If only business class seats are available on next available flight, they have to rebook you.
Passenger advocates say Air Canada is knowingly breaking federal regulations for financial gain.
There is sufficient ground here to lay criminal charges.
Somebody should be doing an outreach to the CTA and say, okay, guys, how are you going to handle this one?
CTV News did ask the Canadian Transportation Agency what they're doing to hold Air Canada responsible for breaking federal passenger protection regulations. The CTA didn't directly answer the question, saying in part that their enforcement team is actively looking into the situation and will take appropriate action as necessary.
The CTA is supposed to be the regulatory body that protects Canadian citizens. And again, these things happen, and there's really been no improvements.
CTV News has given Air Canada 2 days to respond to our questions. They've yet to return our email. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
10 nonprofit groups in Calgary will receive grants from the city to enable people to keep and maintain housing. The grants from the HOME program add up to more than $1 million. It provides funding to projects that increase housing stability and support successful tenancies. While the funds don't build more affordable housing, they are meant to provide the social supports to help people find and maintain housing.
What we hear from them is that this helps immensely in not only how they can serve the groups they're looking to serve, but also in building partnerships with other organizations, which is really the goal of this program.
The city started the program in 2017. Central Memorial Park was the scene of a pop-up care village today.
This could look like homelessness, this could look like poverty, or if you're a family and you are living below the poverty line and you just want to bring kids out, have a fun event, this is the right place for you.
Representatives from more than 40 organizations were on hand, most focused on health, social services, and housing. An optometry bus offered eye exams, and there was a free clothing store. There was entertainment and an art show, too. The event moved to Memorial Park this year from Olympic Plaza because of ongoing construction there. A warehouse in Edmonton went up in flames last night, and it was still smoldering this morning. It was the headquarters for a company that salvages building materials and resells them. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Just ahead on CTV News, celebrating a lifetime of love. Married for 75 years, they're marking their diamond anniversary. We'll crash the party and we'll find out their secret. That's next. One Calgary couple's marriage has really gone the distance. They are celebrating 75 years of wedded bliss.
I never gave it a thought.
Jack and Beryl Delore married on August 19th, 1950. They are celebrating with loved ones at Cactus Club Barlow Trail today. The couple have 3 children. They spent a lot of time playing games with the Thorncliffe Seniors group. Jack and Beryl say their reason that their relationship is so long-lasting is quite simple.
My wife is easy to get along with. I really don't have any problems with her. That's why we've 75 years have lasted.
He's very good to me.
Oh, that's what it is.
Just hang in there.
That's also the advice they say they would share with newlyweds. Just hang in there. That's what
75 years, congratulations.
75, wow. Good for them, congratulations. Well, a couple in North Vancouver had a surprise visitor in the middle of the night. It was not a burglar.
I thought it was maybe an eagle or something. And then actually when it kind of turned itself around, I was like, oh my God, it's an owl. Which was really surprising and also, pretty lucky to be able to see one up close.
So Sue Cook says the owl flew in through an open balcony door around 3:30 in the morning. The feathered intruder stunned itself because it flew into a mirror, but then it just made itself right at home on the living room couch. She and her husband scrambled to make sure their 2 rabbits were hidden away. That's what they were most worried about. She said they don't keep them in cages, but they'd gone to hide under the bed, so they were fine. They ushered it out onto the balcony, and it flew off into the night.
Plus, it does look like it just made himself at home.
Doesn't it? Just sitting there like, this seems cozy. Yeah. This would work.
Nicer spot than the tree.
That's right. An emotional moment for the Chicago Bears backup quarterback. Tyson Bagent signed a new $10 million contract, and he couldn't help but shed a few tears of joy.
Yeah, I think that, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but, you know, my dad is my, he's my right-hand man, and he didn't even have running water until he was in high school. So, yeah, it feels good. I mean, it's certainly a weight off my shoulders and my family's shoulders.
Wow. The Bears general manager says there is not a harder worker in football than that guy there. Here's an interesting note. His dad, Travis, is a world arm wrestling champion.
Wow.
Appreciative. I love to see that.
Yeah,
I love that
fantastic.
guy.
Yeah. Well, a family on vacation at Hilton Head Island in South Carolina got a very up-close peek at not 1, but 2 apex predators.
My goodness.
Okay, so the family was eating at a dockside restaurant, and they noticed sharks floating around, but then an alligator floating around with them. They weren't fighting. They were just all hanging out there together.
Playing. That's what they do, huh?
Just chilling.
Seems like an awful place. Where is this?
Yeah, do not go swimming in there, whatever you do.
Do not go there, Danielle. This is basically your worst nightmare.
All of them together.
Yes.
I would not be just peeking off the dock.
No. There was a mom, I heard her in the background of this video, saying to a little kid, no, I have to hold on to you. I have to hold on to you. He was obviously squirming. Kind of scary. Still to come, an update on the future of empty Hudson's Bay stores, why some landlords don't want a BC billionaire moving into that space.
Okay, your Skywatch weather camera showing you a beautiful day, a lot of blue sky. It's been bright and will continue to be bright. This is a long-term stretch now, stable weather that will give us some heat, certainly later this week and for much of next week. Not heat right now, though. 20 degrees is the temperature, so it's a little below normal. Normal is 22 degrees for this time of year. And check out what's happening across the country. We're those low 20s in much of BC, in through Alberta, just 19 in Edmonton for the high today. And Regina's cooled off now to 25 degrees. And in those mid-20s in through Ottawa, Montreal, Fredericton, they have a problem coming up here. So this is Hurricane Erin. Right now a Category 2 hurricane, but when it gets into Canadian waters, looking more at a Category 1. Now this should remain well offshore, but also could still cause some really strong rip currents and really damaging waves, so and rip tides. So this is going to be one for the weekend for Atlantic Canada. Whereas here for the weekend, nothing. We have ridge of high pressure building in. That's going to push this up and away. Your Action Furnace 24-hour forecast. Action Furnace fixed rider, it's free. And you are looking at just quiet, I mean cool, 7 degrees overnight, and at 8 a.m. just 10 degrees, getting up to 21 in the afternoon hours, but again, a whole lot of sunshine. UV index will start to be on that higher level. All right, Kamloops and Kelowna into the 30s for tomorrow. Edmonton will finally get back into the 20s tomorrow, and lower 20s mainly in through these areas, as you can see here, and further to the south as well, except Medicine Hat will be one of the warmer spots at 24 with sunshine. Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. People in southern Alberta are cleaning up after a supercell storm battered the region yesterday. Strong winds snapped power lines and left a path of destruction. Hail the size of ping pong balls caused extensive damage to homes and crops. Premier Daniel Smith is doubling down, saying that non-healthcare workers will have to register and pay to receive the COVID vaccine. BC's government says Albertans can always go there to get a free shot. And Calgary police are raising the alarm about the high number of crashes caused by excessive speeding. Police say more enforcement tools, including the return of more photo radar, is needed. The Premier and other government officials have marked the opening of a new recovery community in Calgary. The facility is the 4th of its kind in Alberta. It provides holistic, long-term treatment for people pursuing recovery from addiction. The centre actually opened earlier this month with 74 beds and the capacity to serve up to 300 Albertans each year. The government says recovery communities are a key pillar in this model.
We know the need is great, which is why our government is continuing to invest in building facilities. Sorry, I've just seen the need out there and it's heartbreaking.
The province says a total of 11 communities will have recovery facilities by 2027. Others are already operating in Lethbridge, Red Deer and Gunn, which is northwest of Edmonton. Once a breakfast staple, U.S. orange juice is facing a bitter reality. Shipments to Canada plummeted in June, the lowest in more than 2 decades. CTV's Kathy Lee has more on the cocktail of reasons for the citrus slump.
At this Centera grocery store in Calgary, U.S. orange juice bottles cling to a tiny slice of shelf space. Demand for the drink drying up over time. Canadians no longer seem as sweet on the OJ as they once were.
I drink less orange juice.
We're finding it a little bit on the pricey side.
It's a little bit too acidic for me, so for health reasons, we've cut down on that.
The changing consumer habits, one of the reasons U.S. orange juice imports into Canada hit a record low in June in more than 20 years, according to new U.S. data.
Per capita consumption in North America has more than halved in the last 20 years.
Supply issues in states like Florida because of disease and extreme weather, and retaliatory tariffs on U.S. citruses and orange juice also contributing factors.
We're clearly feeling the impact of the steel and aluminum tariffs. These retaliatory tariffs were intended to do the same thing to the U.S.
At the Bridgeland grocery store, the owner says some shoppers are branching out, thirsty for something new.
Mango juice or pineapple juice, stuff that is more of a different price point.
While desire for the U.S. imported option dwindles, at Centera, it's the opposite for the tangy juice, freshly squeezed right from the fruit.
We are seeing an increase on a per customer basis.
Jose Lomelli says thanks to oranges imported from other countries,
Egypt, Morocco, Zimbabwe,
these bottles of citrus sunshine still affordable.
This is the best orange juice.
With fresh becoming more popular and a plethora of other juices available.
Orange mango juice that's organic. I can get guava juice.
It's uncertain if U.S. OJ can squeeze its way back into shopping carts in the future or will peel out of the picture. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
The fate of those empty spaces the Bay used to inhabit is still being debated in court. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more on that and our other business headlines.
There's more opposition to a BC billionaire's push to take over lease agreements from the Bay. The team overseeing the credit protection case for the failed retailer says it doesn't think landlords should be forced to accept Ruby Lou as a tenant. Those landlords say Lou's team doesn't have retail experience and the timelines for renovation aren't realistic. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. Another dip for the Canadian dollar, putting it under 72 cents U.S. West Texas Intermediate is up, hitting 63.52. Western Canadian Select up almost $1 to 49.42. And the TSX jumped 176 points today to 28,055. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
A brouhaha on a Red Deer golf course has inspired the creation of a new beer, the Tarnasky. Video of the fight between former NHL enforcer Nick Tarnasky and another man at Alberta Springs Golf Course went viral earlier this summer. It was viewed tens of millions of times online. Now Tarnasky and Darkwoods Brewing in Innisfail have partnered to create a light lager. Nick Bell, co-owner of Darkwoods Brewing, says Tarnasky used to coach him when he played hockey.
We've had some great response from the community. Everyone thinks it's just the coolest thing and kind of the funniest thing, to be honest. I'm getting phone calls and messages all from his hockey teams back when he played in the NHL, down in Vegas all the way to Florida, and they're asking me to send it all the way to there. And
police declined to investigate the incident. The other man involved in the fight posted a video online apologizing for his role in it. Tarnasky has been cleared to return as a coach for Red Deer Minor Hockey this upcoming season. There's always a lot of interest when the Rough Riders come to town. Adam Bighill won't be in the lineup, at least not yet, but he is getting closer to his comeback. Glenn has those details for us next. A new exhibit entitled Meltdown showcases Canada's glacial landscapes and boasts an immersive experience. Photographers Jim Elzinga and Roger Vernon captured a collection of landscapes which coincide with the International Year of Glacier Preservation. The ice field, located on the Continental Divide in the Canadian Rockies, is a significant bellwether of the accelerating effects of climate change, and experts say it is retreating faster than ever. The exhibition is inside the Columbia Icefield Discovery Centre until October 15th. The top two teams in the West face each other at McMahon Stadium Saturday night. Glenn is back with us, and Glenn, always a great atmosphere when the Riders are in town.
Tara, McMahon's going to look a lot like a Christmas tree on Saturday with all the red and the green. The Riders first in the West. The Stamps are second, trying to chase them down, and the Stamps may get some help on defense.
Pressure coming, and it gets knocked at the lines. And Adam Bighill is down.
Adam Bighill hasn't played a game since September 1st of 2024. That's when he tore up his knee in the Labor Day Classic against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Despite being 36 years old, Bighill vowed he would return to play football. He signed with the Stamps this season and is getting very close to returning.
Yeah, I'm hoping Dave lets me go. You know, at the end of the day, there's some always roster conversations that sometimes there's nothing you can control. I'm just hoping that, you know, this week it works out for me. But regardless, we got guys that are ready to play, and you know, I'm just waiting for my opportunity to get out there. So when it's time, it'll be time. But I'm optimistic.
And so is the head coach.
Certainly not in this business of rushing guys back, but I think he's ready. Just got to decide, you know, how we're going to work this and roster. One of the things we as a team we've talked about, you got to earn it, and he's doing that. He's doing his right things, and I guess I just got to play it out.
Bighill has never been through anything like this and admits there's been a lot of adversity. He's always loved football, but this has made him appreciate the game even more.
I mean, they always say you don't know how much you appreciate something until it's gone. You know, I think that's always true. I mean, no matter how much gratitude you have, and that's something I always try to have, is gratitude. You know, still it takes that to another realization of really what it's like to be out here, what it's really like to be with the guys. And
even though Bighill hasn't been playing, he's still there to help the team any way he can, giving advice when needed.
As soon as he signed, man, my eyes lit up. I couldn't. As soon as I seen the news, I was so excited. He's been great to this locker room, man, just helping guys out with film. His experience, it's good to see him out here on the field too.
Kickoff for Saturday's game, 5 o'clock at McMahon Stadium.
That is going to be such a beautiful night for a football game, because we're just heading into this gorgeous, long, hot, sunny stretch.
And let's be honest, we haven't had this gorgeous, long, hot, sunny stretch really at all this summer.
No.
You know, a 10-day one, I mean, there may be a little bit of instability by after the weekend, but it doesn't look like it at all. 21 degrees for tomorrow, a lot of sunshine, so a little bit slightly on the cooler side, but if you like the hotter temps, oh, don't worry, we've got that for you too. Mid-20s by Sunday, and much of next week will be in those high 20s. Okay, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, Alberta's climate. And clearly I didn't save this right because this is a little stretched out, but it's a really cool picture from Val Moore. And this is Cowboy Trail. And we had amazing pictures from our viewers with regards to the storm that passed through. So luckily no storms in the forecast.
Yeah, I bet you did. I'm sure it was hard to pick just one. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
We won't be seeing that for a while.
No.
Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.